Hi all, and welcome to the video. In this one, it's the Pyramid of Home walkthrough. So once you've entered via the Pyramid of Home in Broken Shores, head down, turn east at number 9, and you're in this room. There's 2 porthole keepers. You simply take them down and wait for the porthole to appear. When it does, simply take down the porthole keeper. That's all he does, is spawn a porthole, a little like they do in Pandemonium. Unfortunately, they don't drop anything, but all the ads, etc. in this particular instance are level 300 and do hit rather hard. So once he's down, it's just time to click on the portal and head down to the next floor. Now, once again, there's nothing of note on this floor, just lots of mobs to clear and a couple of portal bosses. So clear them all up. Make sure you haven't left anywhere you don't think you have. Each different mob type has a different type of debuff. But you do need to be aware of that. Silencers can be particularly bad. They're the humanoid type mobs. Take them all down. And then it's time to arrange yourselves for the portal. Oh, almost forgot this one. Right. Now, there are 2 portals on this floor, if you like, a north and an east. You need to take them down simultaneously. So the simplest way to do that is to use a raid bot and use the countdown timer. They're a pretty easy kill, as you can see. Once that's done, the portal boss will spawn at this point here on the map. As soon as he does, it's a repeat with tank and spank until the portal appears. Once it does, you can head on down. Now, floor 3, your first boss fight. Now, there are some tactics involved in this, and these seem to work the best. If you put your enforcer and soldier over here, or in a enforcer and keeper, and then put everybody else on the opposite side where they're still in sort of nano range so the dot can heal, etc., they will avoid the nano shutdown, or NDS, or NSD even. And once he's here, the enforcer does his best to keep aggro on him. Bear in mind, nano shutdown does make that a little tricky, hence why the soldier's over here, or someone with the highest DD, in order to deal with him, because the soldier does have AMS. Now, once he's down, you will have avoided all the fireballs that have been sailing down the middle of the room. You can see some there. Once he's down, it's probably a good idea for the weaker members of the team to wait until they've dispersed, because they will still kill you, even after the boss is down. Ooh, nice. Okay, once the boss is down and all the looting's done, you're on to this floor. And on this one, we have, again, 3 placeholders to spawn the portal. So you need to divvy out your team a little more again. Try and send a damage dealer to each, and have the enforcer be the nearest. I'm currently at this one. And once again, pretty easy kill, if you're a damage dealer. Then it's time to run back and keep an eye on the map, because you can confuse yourself very easily in here, as I often do. And then take down the vortex soldier, who will spawn yet another portal. Once it's there, it's time to head down. That brings you to floor number 5, and this is a boss fight. Now then, there are 2 pillars of light at either end of the room, both east and west, or left and right respectively, and the tactic we are using here is to have most of the team over on this one, the west one. The tank and the keeper are now over to the east side of the room, and they will be fighting the boss only. The rest of the team, obviously, will be supporting them with hots and heals and debuffing the boss, but predominantly will only be fighting the ads, the voidlings, when they spawn. Each different type of ad has a different debuff, and the boss also casts an area debuff, which will do various things to you, including turning you into a lizard. Don't worry about this too much. Just enter the portal light column when it is green. It cycles through, I can't remember the exact cycle, but you're okay to wait those few seconds until you see a green column come up. Lag notwithstanding. Bear in mind, there's a hefty reflect on the voidlings, 500. Hence why, bring soldiers and healing with you. Each different wave of voidlings will do something different, so take them down. And if you are debuffed, you should be able to see it because you'll look like a lizard. There we go. Now it's red, so we just wait for green, and there we go. Debuff gone. A bit like DB1. And then proceed to keep on fighting the voidlings. Now, once all the voidlings are dealt with, and the boss is about 25%, it's okay for the rest of the team to join in and finish taking him down. There we go. Job done. He kind of hovers in the air a bit and can be difficult to loot. Once you've sorted the loot, it's time for floor 6. And this time there are 4 portal placeholders to kill, situated in these circles here. So you've got north, west, middle, and south. Or you can designate them with different names any way you wish. Now, it's a good idea to put the enforcer and the tank on the north one. But before you do any of that, you do need to clear some ads. And I think this floor, without doubt, has the most. So deal with those. It can be a bit of a maze to get to the top north end of this, which is where the porthole will spawn. So do get and spend time to read the map as best you can and follow instructions. We head into the meat section of the playfield up here. There's something unnerving about that door. Yeah, so clear all the ads in this room, otherwise you'll be fighting those, plus you'll be fighting the porthole boss, which we don't want to do. Now, the soldier at the moment is here. We've got the enforcer and doctor up at the very north one, because then it's much nearer for them to get to where the porthole will spawn. And this is a room I tend to get quite lost in. There we go, and literally run back with your teammates. You've got a dock and enforcer on the porthole boss, so he won't despawn because he's under attack, and it gives you a little bit more time to run back. Now, if you've done a good job on clearing the ads, if you do zigzag into the wrong room, hopefully most of the ads, etc. around here will be dead. So you're up the ramp, and through the disconcerting meaty curtains, can't believe I just said that, and in here to kill this vortex soldier. And then it's time to head down to floor 7. It's a boss fight. Now, there are some ads to deal with, so do so. Some of them on this floor do have some very nasty debuffs. Especially the cultist guys and these guys. They look like an engineer pet. Yes, indeed. Now, once that's done, this is the actual boss room, and that's the boss in the centre there. Now, while she's in this sort of blue flame, she is basically invulnerable. Once you start, the door behind you becomes blocked by fire. So, when you've rebuffed, had your bio breaks, it's time to charge in. Usually, the enforcer will just mongo and pull the boss off the portal. she will jump around the room quite a bit. If you're ranged, it's a pretty good spot to stand here. Because you've got a good line of sight across the entire room. Right, once she moves up there, you need to take out the ads. If you are line of sighted, just jump down like this and take them out as quickly as you can, especially the Medusa looking mobs. Then you can pretty much return to this spot here. And the maiden's back. When she's on the regular floor, you can actually fight her. And she's warped again, and it's time for ads again. If you're melee, you're going to be running around a lot more. But don't worry, when we get to the final boss, everybody is going to be running. Oh, she's down, everybody can engage again. And as you can see, ranged from this spot, I have a pretty fair advantage over melee. Same time, keep looking around for any other ads that might have been missed, because if you leave them, you will regret it. Okay, she's done that, and some people have been, unfortunately, mind controlled. Right, so we need to take out ads again. Now, the flames can extend into the room, and she has another couple of tricks up her sleeve. Time for ads. Now these, the sacrifice, you absolutely need to get down as fast as you can. Not doing so will get you all killed. So you just have to wait it out until she gets off of there again. She's off, she's now vulnerable again. Okay, and she's back up inside a flame on the wall. Time to kill ads. Again, these are level 300 mobs that spawn in here. You can see the flame at the door you can't exit. She's down. Time to attack again. Pet classes will probably be okay stood up here, but mostly will have to jump down and use pet warp to get their pets next to her. Okay, time for ads. Now with a strong team and healing, this room shouldn't be any kind of problem. Trick is, do not forget to kill the sacrifice mobs. Here come the laser beams. Another reason to be stood up here, because then you won't be near any. Melee, you're going to have to run. Sacrifice, take them down as fast as you can. If you leave one, everybody dies. So the geometry of the floor is not pet friendly at all. And occasionally she will spawn out of range, so you do need to come down from your little handy spot. Yes, don't be stood there when those come down. Always keep an eye out for any stray mobs. Okay, when she's in the middle, she has a huge reflect, and usually the sacrifice spawns. Make sure you nail them as fast as possible. Another reason for the ranged portion of the team to be stood up here, as I said, those rather nasty things. They create a mind control. As you can see now, the tank is attacking me. Thankfully, it didn't get the dock, so we should be okay. Almost down. Oh, mind control. And she's down. Right, that's it. This one, again, dropped some rather nice loot. So, sort out the loot, and it's time to head to the next floor. Once inside, there is nothing to fight. It's simply known as the gate room. And it's quite interesting to have a little look around, but essentially you just run to the end, and this is the final portal to, in fact, the final boss. Interesting to note here for old timers like me, but the original Shadowlands beta had rooms with these portholes in it, which went to Elysium in different areas. It was the original design, in fact. Anyhow, good place to buff, take a break, etc. You are perfectly safe here. And then it's time to head on in. Now, once inside, there's a small placeholder at the end that you need to kill. As soon as he's down, the big boss will spawn. Here he is, the nameless one. It's a good idea to kind of pull him toward the middle. And the basic operation in here is to run the boss through those little explosions you're seeing. over to the side there. Those take away the boss's sort of immunity from damage, but he has more than one trick up his sleeve. This particular guy doesn't really drop anything, but he is pretty tough, and essentially it's just a giant square, despite the minimap sort of showing it as though it has a path along it. It does, but you're not bound to it in any way. In fact, you're probably going to be using most of the area. Now, once he's down, the fun begins. Now, the team as a whole need to stay more or less in front of the Enforcer, who is going to be trying his best to hold aggro on the boss. The boss also has a few other tricks up his sleeve, namely, he spawns those columns of light in various lines. If you're close to him, they're slightly easier to avoid because the gaps between them are smaller. Now, you can probably see that there's some fireballs. Avoid them. Should be obvious, but you'd be surprised. So again, there's a lot of running around in this. There's no handy spot to stand. Those fireballs are pretty nasty, and they do in fact follow you quite often, as you can see there. Just keep moving, keep avoiding them. Now, need to locate the boss again. Ooh. There you go, there's the Enforcer running ahead, and pillars of light. You can see they're quite large in terms of size and length, and he can spawn them one right after the other, unfortunately. Now, if you shoot the boss before he's inside one of the unstable vortices, you won't do much damage to him. Here come the fireballs. So, if you've had some experience of kiting, you will probably find this a little easier. As I say, try and stay ahead of the Enforcer. There's a lot of pressure on whoever is playing the Enforcer to get this right, but it's a good idea to be situationally aware of everything that's going on around you. So, yeah, there we go, another line, and a second line. And if you look at the mini-map, you'll see that they kind of cross across like bicycle wheel spokes, and they will either kill you or do an incredible amount of damage. They're different ones, I've noticed. I'm not 100% sure on that, other than telling you avoid them. Some of them will mind control you. Oops. Yeah. Yes, I did just run through a fireball there. So, depending on luck of the draw and how many times you can get him inside the vortices, depends how quickly you will take him down. Now, the vortices themselves may be on some sort of a regular spawn, but it's very difficult to figure out. You don't really have the time while you're running around here trying not to die. Now, while you are in here, Shadowlands rules apply on buffs, so things like grid space freedom are not going to be massively helpful, because the game will automatically cancel them. Now, I've gotten to the side of him here, and you can see I am taking a fair bit of damage there. Okay, he's in one of those, so it's time to try and get some damage on him quick as we can. So it can be quite a long fight. You just get him on a vortice, and you have to run again, because there's fireballs around. Oh, and he does AoEs as well. Yes, he is a pretty tough fight. You can see the Enforcer's trying to bring him over to this portal. Avoid the fireballs. And here come the lines. Ooh, just missed them. As you can see, they're moving around the playfield now, a bit like a clock. They do seem to move in a clockwise fashion, like the hands of a clock moving around. So if you're nearer the middle, you've actually got a little less running around to do at that stage. Okay, getting him on the vortice. Oh, we did get him. So it's rinse and repeat until you get to this sort of stage, by which time you're probably getting a bit weary, but stay focused. those lines seem to get worse and worse. You can see them there in the middle. And the boss is still going to stamp you into the ground if you're not careful. There you go, I've picked up the dot. So, let's try and get him into this one. There we go. We should be able to damage on him now. Now, if you're near the middle like this, unless you're very unlucky, yeah, you're near the centre of the wheel, so to speak, so you're running less. Doesn't always work though, so do be wary and have your eye on the minimap and everything else that's going on around you. Okay, we've almost got him down, and avoid those damned fireballs. And they continue to persist after he is actually down, and he leaves this rather nice little orange ball, which has all the fun loot inside it. You may still need to keep your eye out on the fireballs even after he's died. As you can see right, they've now cleared, so it's time for Storm to divvy out the loot. So this isn't a comprehensive guide, it's more of a primer, and there's some very good written guides, noticeably by the Athen Paladins. They've got a cracking guide on doing this that's written, certainly worth a read. It will definitely help, although some of their methodology on a couple of the bosses is slightly different than we seem to do it in Storm, but there's more than one way to get a lot of stuff done. So there we go. I didn't really want to make a guide for this because there were several available already, but people continue to keep asking me to make one, so I have. Okay folks, bye for now.